Hello everyone, welcome to my channel and welcome to another video. So today's video I'm going to be talking about eczema again, but specifically eczema on the face. So in terms of the different types of facial eczema, I have seen that there are two main ways that it does tend to express itself. You either get the first way, which is the all over kind of redness and dryness. I feel like this does tend to come out with more often with people who have had prolonged steroid use. The second type of eczema is the one that I had, which is where it is in concentrated patches, but it is pretty severe in those different patches. So for example, I had it around my eyelids, I would have it around my lips, I'd have it on my neck, and I'd have it sometimes on my cheek here. So hopefully some of these tips are going to help you if you are suffering from facial eczema or other types of inflammatory skin problems on your face. If you have followed my channel for a while, you will probably know that I am a big advocate of the kind of leave it alone method. If you don't follow my channel and you like this video so far, then please do give this video a like, it really helps me, and subscribe if you want to see more of these types of videos. So what I mean by leave it alone is that I do not slather my face with lots of moisturizers. I have personally never found a moisturizer that has cured my eczema. I use moisturizers as a way to protect and sort of prevent any further eczema from happening. Maybe this is personal to me, but my skin actually, when it's very inflamed, it gets very easily irritated. So I actually refrain from putting anything on it. So when my face was really, really bad, this is what I would do. I would just leave it alone. I wouldn't wash my face, not even with water, because water can be very drying. And I'd just leave it for a few days and just kind of let it rest and sort of focus on the, looking after myself from the inside. And then hopefully after a few days, when I see some improvements, then I would perhaps start looking into washing my face again and using some moisturizers and products and these sorts of things. So let's move now to my bathroom cabinet and talk about some of the products that I do use. So we are now in my bathroom. Hello. What I thought I would do here is just kind of talk through some of the products that I have here, which I do use to wash my face or moisturize, and also a little bit of makeup. If that is helpful. And like I mentioned before, I don't have that kind of all over redness when it comes to facial eczema, so I am able to wash my face with sort of normal products, I guess, but the products that I do use I am very careful with. Also, sorry about the buzzing, it's the fan in our bathroom. I'll try to get rid of it in the editing. But so what I actually use, I use this. This is a French brand called Cartier, and everything is super organic. This is a rebalancing cleansing gel. There is nothing toxic, no alcohol. It's all super, super mild, very, very gentle face wash. I also have a matching kind of makeup remover, which is if I ever wear eye makeup, although I very rarely use this, which is why you can see I barely used it. And then so I just use that to wash my face in the evenings, and then to moisturize on my face I do use this, which is the La Roche-Posay Effaclar Duo, because on top of having eczema prone skin, I do actually tend to get a little bit spotty as well. Great, lucky me. I've tried to use other moisturizers which are possibly a bit more sort of like natural, have more natural ingredients, but I just break out, so I kind of gave up on that. In the mornings I have this stuff, which is essentially the same as the one that I used in the evening. It's just that it has a bit of SPF in it, and it protects against the toxins and pollutions and things like that. This is especially important in London because obviously the London air is quite dirty. So I like using those moisturizers at the moment when it is quite warm and my skin isn't feeling particularly dry. However, I have found that if my skin is really, really dry, then actually those two moisturizers aren't great for my skin, and I am actually on the lookout for a new moisturizer. So if you guys want to recommend something, then please do. In the winter I do use this, which is something I found in Denmark, which is called the E-Cooking 24 Timers Cream. It's very thick, but it feels super, super nice when you put it on your skin. But it doesn't feel super nice if it's really hot and you start sweating, because my god, it creates this essentially this like slippery, slimy layer on your skin. So that is only really good for winter time. So on top of the products that I use to wash my face, I also do use some just like pure natural oils, and my favorite oil is jojoba oil, which I love. And then I also use a little bit of castor oil, especially for my lips. And sometimes if on other parts as well, if they're feeling particularly dry, I really, really like those two types of oil. So if you haven't tried jojoba oil or castor oil, I highly recommend it, because It's really nice for your skin. It's usually very unreactive. Like I said before, if my skin is really bad on my face, I don't really wash my face and I just leave it alone. And I do know that also there are specific types of cleansers that are for very dry skin. So I really like Cetaphil as a moisturizing brand, and I know that they do have a cleansing cream as well, which you can use for your face if you have the kind of all over redness. You could give that one a go. They have also a face moisturizer. I have found that Cetaphil is the only brand of moisturizer that I keep going back to. All the other types, I don't know, after a while my skin just doesn't like them. But it's tricky because products on your face is very personal and different people will do better on some things and others. So I've just told you what I use. It doesn't necessarily mean that yours is going to be the same. I just thought if you are interested in kind of looking at the sort of the things I use on my face, then that's what I use. So now I just want to show you also a few things in my makeup bag, because I think that makeup is also quite an important thing to talk about when we are talking about facial eczema. We are in my bed now, going through my makeup bag, and I do have a dedicated video which kind of talks through my entire makeup routine. So if you are interested in watching that, I'll link that up here. And I also kind of talk about some of the struggles that I had growing up with eczema. So if you're interested in hearing about that, then go watch it. But the main type of makeup that I want to talk about here is kind of concealers, foundations, and things that you would use to cover up your facial eczema. If you're having really bad facial eczema, I would recommend just not doing anything to it. But you know, if you feel like it's not that bad but just kind of lingering and you feel like you just want to cover it up for some reasons, I've never reacted to makeup, and I've actually found that a little bit of makeup feels quite nice because it can be quite moisturizing. So I have two different foundations that I use. The first one is this Era Perez Oat Milk foundation, which I've talked about in lots of other videos. And my second one is this one, the Tinted Face Oil, the Co-Source one. Still find the name of that so weird, but anyway. So this is the one I definitely prefer, because the consistency of this is thicker and is a bit creamy, and it's really nice and moisturizing, and it stays there for quite a long time. This is only really good for skin that isn't dry, because if you have dry skin, the oil, for some reason, it kind of catches into your dry skin flakes. So I wouldn't recommend using tinted face oils. I would 100 million gazillion times recommend using this slightly thicker Era Perez Oat Milk foundation ones. But then I would also use this other one, which I always lose. Yeah, I've lost it again. It's this, this very thick MAC concealer. If I have like a really, I could probably do with some here and there, never mind. I'd use that usually here where I have a bit of discoloration, or sometimes even if I had a little bit of eczema. But again, it's not great for very dry skin because it catches and then you can kind of see all the flakes underneath it. So while your skin is very dry, just stick to this bad boy. It is so good. So another thing about your face which is different from the rest of your body is that it is pretty much always exposed. And the main thing that I have noticed is that it's good to keep things kind of mild in the environment. So that means it's good with a little bit of sunshine, but not too much hot heat where your face gets sweaty, because my face definitely does react when it does get a little bit sweaty, and especially in my neck. Even when I exercise, it gets quite irritated. So try and avoid extreme heat, but a little bit of warmth and a little bit of sunshine, that is good for it. And on the other end of the scale as well, very harsh winds and cold is also not great for your skin. So if you can avoid either of those two environments, then that is ideal. If that means that you need to stay indoors for a few days, then definitely do that. Similarly, if you need to go outside for a few days, if it's, you know, very hot and sweaty inside your apartment, I don't know. But do just kind of keep a good sense of how your skin is reacting to a particular temperature or weather or something like that. Now, another thing I would do if my face was very itchy, I would buy a bag of frozen peas and just put it on my face and just leave it there. I would use frozen peas for itchiness all over, but on my face it feels super nice. I sometimes just do it now as well, just to cool down. But yeah, a bag of frozen peas, because it fits so nicely in all the different contours of your face. Massive top tip, much better than ice. Ice can actually leave a bit of an ice burn. I have tried that before and that was a little bit too cold. frozen peas are your absolute best friends when it comes to itchiness on your face. I would also get quite a lot of flakes on my skin, especially around my eye. And what I would do is I would just use some tweezers to very, very lightly sort of just take off the ones that are ready to come off. I would never ever pull off any skin that was, you know, still kind of attached to my healthy skin, because that means that that bit of skin is just not ready to come off at all. I would sometimes, and this sounds a bit weird and a bit gross, but I would use kind of nail clippers to just cut off the dry bit. So my nail clippers look like this. So the way that sometimes I would do it, and I would never do it if I felt like it was gonna hurt my own normal skin. Should I even give this tip? I don't know. But I'm just gonna tell you that this is what I used to do. If I had, like, for example, like if I had like a bit of skin flake here, I would literally just take a little bit of the clipper and just clip that off there, so it wouldn't tug at any of the skin that was underneath, because you want to leave that skin alone as much as possible. And it was only if I really felt like it was necessary and it was like a very big flake. Be super careful if you are doing that. Do not clip your face. I don't want any messages or pictures of people saying that they've managed to, you know, clip a chunk out of their own face. Obviously, just be very, very careful. You need to be very careful with your skin. Ideally, you just leave it alone as much as possible. This was only if I felt like I really, really needed to, like if I was like going to an event or something and I just wanted to kind of get rid of those little flaky bits. Otherwise, dry brushing is a great way to get rid of sort of dry skin, and it also has a kind of slightly moisturizing effect, and I think that is because it does just like very lightly exfoliate as well as bring up lots of blood to the surface of your skin, so you get that kind of double effect. So if you don't have a dry brush, there's loads of different ones that you can get. I can't show you mine because mine is actually still in Dubai, but I'll leave a little picture of one somewhere on the screen so you can have a look. But I really, really recommend giving those a go, and the way that you use them is like big strokes across your face like this and across your eyes. I think I did it like 2 or 3 times a day, not how many times I thought was necessary, and I would kind of go like this all around like that. So the final thing that I used to do is that I would make sure that any cuts that I had on my face were kept clean and sort of lubricated. So I used to get them a lot around my lips. Very occasionally I get a little one here by my eye as well. And the way that I would do this is I would get a little bit of tissue and wet the tissue with some water, then go over the cut, especially if it was sort of slightly dark brown, because the blood had dried a little bit, so there was like a little bit of a scab. I'd just clean it until that dark brown was gone, and then what I do is I put a little bit of castor oil on that, exactly where that cut was, just to kind of keep it a little bit lubricated. So those are my tips and my sort of practical advice of how to deal with your facial eczema. If you have any tips that I haven't mentioned here, or there's things that you do which help you, especially if you have the kind of the other type of facial eczema that I talked about in the beginning of the video, the sort of all over redness, then please do share those tips here. It would be really helpful for other people who perhaps have the same thing. And in the meantime, I hope you are all keeping super well. I hope you're enjoying the sunshine, and I will see you again on Saturday for another video. Bye.